Every fall semester I teach at 8 o'clock and my students are horrified when I come in all awake and happy. Okay, it looks like, oh, the door shut is about that time. Okay, so before we start, I was asked to remind everyone to please turn off the ringers on your cell phones.
Oh, thank you.
I used to tell students that if it went off, that I had this horrible response. I just always had an urge to take a phone and throw it really hard. And their eyes would get really big, and they never had any phones ringing. It was pretty good. The fact that they thought I would actually do that was a little scary. Okay, so first of all, I'm Brenda, and thank you for waking up this early and joining me this morning. It is always, I gotta use the word honor. It's always an honor to be able to speak and share information. So again, so thank you to the club. So I have handouts. Some are in color, some are black and white. Two different people photocopied. So, and I also have my personal chips afterwards. Please take them. I don't want to carry them home.
What will be on the test?
And I'd like to give a handout so that you have the information. And on the last page of the handout, there's also contact information for me, about 6 different ways of contacting me in case you have questions. So let me take 5 minutes to tell you a little bit about my background, what I'm doing up here, what I'm going to talk about. So in short, I have a background in sports psychology. That's where my PhD is. I did my undergraduate work at UCLA. I had a fantastic professor who taught sports psychology, and I took all 3 of the classes she offered, and I was hooked. And then she said to me, okay, you need to go get your master's now, you're going to Illinois. So why am I going to Illinois? That's where you need to go. So, when you're clueless, so I packed up, went to Illinois for my master's degree. That took 6 years off. I was a little burnt out. And then I went to Michigan State for a PhD.
Go green.
What?
Go green.
Yeah, go green. I'm still a little mad about the Mansar stuff, but we'll go into that. Then, I'm honest. But we can go green because I'm at EMD. So sports psychology, that's what everything was. When I got out, all of us folks in sports psychology at that time, many of us, were being kind of molded into sport management people. Because that was the latest thing for students. So I've been teaching now for about over 20 years. I'm a full professor at Eastern, and I basically revamped the graduate program in sport management, got that running, created an undergraduate program. I guess I'm doing paperwork too. But my first love is sports psychology. And what I was so fortunate to go to Illinois because I learned under one of the first people doing applied sports psychology with athletes. And that's so important because what I do, and I give seminars on mental skills, is we look at how can you train yourself and how can you improve. Okay? I am not a psychiatrist. I'm not a clinical psychologist. I have had athletes come in, usually they'll give me like a training room if I'm working with college or high school athletes. At the university, they'll come in, throw themselves on the athletic training table, start telling me about their childhood. And I'm like, stop. I'm sure you had an interesting childhood. I don't want to hear it. That's not what I do. And so the bottom line is we're dealing with all of you are perfectly normal individuals.
Wow. Most of us.
And so what we're doing is we're looking at mental skills the same way as physical skills. So did any of you play a sport ever? What did you play?
Soccer.
Soccer.
Track.
Track.
Football.
Basketball.
Okay.
Tennis.
Okay, yeah, Let's think about this. None of us popped out of the womb knowing how to play a sport. You had to train. So if you're a basketball, right, you have to learn how to dribble the basketball, right? You have to learn footwork. There's actually steps, and there's a lot of research on in motor learning, on the throwing motion that all children go through. We learn these things. But for years we ignored learning about the mental skills. So that's what we do. We just look at it similar to physical skills. And of course, years ago, coaches, if an athlete maybe was under, had a hard time handling pressure, for example, coaches would say, oh, he's a head case. We know now, and then magically that person would be traded and be perfectly fine with another coach. One other caveat I'll mention is that for all the years we were doing research on this topic in the 1980s mostly, our coaches were not using it here in the US. They were all using it in Eastern Europe. And years ago I went on a conference to the old Soviet Union and East Germany. They were all applying this research for their athletes. Steroids were separate. I'm talking about and I don't want to horrify people, but our athletes have taken PEDs for years also. Sometimes people are horrified to hear that. But again, so it's applying what we know, and it's a lot of fun. Right now, again, I mentioned I work with high school students, collegiate athletes. I do a lot with individuals who are in different canine sports. So dog obedience, confirmation. I do a lot of seminars for clubs. So I'm kind of distilling a 2-day seminar into about an hour for you. Some things, but that'll work. So let me talk about, when we think about psychological performance, what is this? So I'm going to talk just a little bit more, one more page worth, and then I'm going to start giving all of you different tools to use. I'm a little afraid I'm going to put you through relaxation training, a short one, which you'll be having your eyes closed. Some of you might fall asleep, that's okay, it happens. But we're going to look at relaxation techniques, breathing techniques, imagery, and then we'll see if we have time for me to give you any other tools today. And then we'll connect to what we're doing here at Casino Stuff. So when we think about psychological performance, there's these basic levels. What is the attitude? When you walk in and say, oh God, why am I playing blackjack today? I'm just going to lose. What is that attitude you have? What is your motivation? What is your motivation for doing what we do? What are your goals? All of us have certain goals. It could be different areas of your life, but we all have different goals. I promise I'll just give a few dog examples. So my Sheltie, we were on our way for an obedience championship, and she got injured. And my goals changed from performance, training goals for her, to rehab goals. Very much. And people say, well, when's she getting back in the ring? I said, I don't care. I'm not thinking about that right now. And we did the rehab. And she was able eventually to get back in the ring. And so, again, changing those goals. And think about years ago, and how many of you play slots? How many of you sit at the tables? Think about years ago when the first time you sat down, either a slot machine or a table. I've known people who were completely stressed out with the idea of walking up, especially when there's other people sitting at the table, walking up, sitting down, or walking up and hoping the person sitting at the slot machine next to you isn't also taking a break from the one, at yours, so you don't get yelled at for stealing their machine. I've seen that over the years. And so what is that? And then the people skills you have, chatting, talking, being able to ask questions of what you don't know, which is also important. The preparatory skills, our self-talk, we have a running dialogue in our minds constantly. It's kind of like the CNN news ticker or the ESPN. And for humans, it's very interesting. Most of that's negative. And so we're not going to have time for self-talk today, I don't think, but that is being able to stop those negative thoughts if they're affecting you. And I had a golfer once who one bad shot in practice fell apart. And I asked, I said, would you think about keeping a log in practice of your thoughts? And she did. The next time I saw her, she could not believe after that shot everything she wrote down. She had no idea she had those negative thoughts. So again, becoming aware of those. Imagery. Imagery is fantastic. It can prepare you for anything. It is basically training without getting injured. In all honesty, I'll talk about imagery because imagery helps you learn a skill, it helps you practice, and it helps you reduce stress. Imagery and goal setting are just the best things in the world. And there are performance skills, what we were talking about, managing anxiety. And I'm sure all of you, if you've ever sat down at a blackjack table, have seen someone so nervous they forgot how to count. That's nervous, many times. Managing your emotions. You don't want to let those emotions get in the way, especially anger. But of course, if you're playing poker, you don't want to start giggling hysterically if all of a sudden you have 3 aces. Right? You don't want to give certain things away. So managing that. And then concentration. Being able to concentrate on what you are doing. And nowadays with so many things bombarding us, right? We multitask. And then when we're out here in the casino, what are we doing? Right? You're really focused on one thing. Now, once let's say blackjack, that's the game I play the most. Once the dealer's done with you, right, you can look at other things, but there's a level of concentration there, and a lot of people were losing that concentration. So there are exercises you can do to build up concentration, which is really great. So when we think of competition, and any type of game is a process, anything at all, when we think about it. And the first, and that's on page 3, the little boxes, if you're looking, is the OCS, the objective situation. Right? It's blackjack, nothing more, nothing less. Whether I'm playing at home by myself, sitting or in a casino, did anyone here participate in the blackjack tournament? Okay, or in the tournament, it's blackjack. The game's the same.
Right.
You count to 21. That's it. So that's the objective. Then you have the subjective, the SCS. And what happens with that? That's when we start thinking. Oh God, they just raised the table limit. Am I going to lose money now? Oh my God, I'm in a tournament where people laugh at me if I do something. Right? And we start thinking and thinking and thinking. And then so what happens when we start thinking, or we have a response, and all of us react to anxiety differently. So high stress is anxiety. All of us, for some, how many of you have the habit where you can hear your heart beating?
I've heard it.
Yeah. So the heart beating, or any of you have the sweaty hands? I had a friend years ago, before she would go out on a date, she would stand in front of the refrigerator because she was so nervous so her hands would sweat. It was classic. For some, it's the thoughts. Oh my God, what am I doing here? Everyone's a better player than I am. Why did I even come? So we have all this. Now what happens is the consequences, if that continues, number one, you're probably not going to play well, whether it's cards, whether it's basketball, whatever it might be. It's not going to be a good outcome, and you're not going to enjoy yourself. I mean, why would we, this is a hobby, right? This is a hobby, that when I come to town on vacation, I have my entertainment money, that's for the tables. It's something I enjoy, it's a hobby, I have now the hobby of the chip collecting. If it makes me feel miserable, why would I do it? Right? it'd stop. And so then the response is, hey, they're not going to see me anymore. Like, I can't do this. And so what we want to do is work on the SCS if we can, the subjective, but if you are starting to feel the heart pounding and everything else, and of course that also decreases concentration, that you can get it back. So then you can enjoy whatever the hobby might be. So one way, and where we always start, is relaxation training. What I do is I always try to give more than one tool for the toolbox, because different things work for different people. And so what is your classic relaxation training? I'm going to put you through a little, a short version of this. This is not the 3-hour version of it. But what I'm going to do is, and this is where hopefully you won't fall asleep because I'm going to have you close your eyes. Then I'm going to tell you to tighten different muscle groups. So I'm going to start with the feet. Once I tighten it, move up. And what I say is tighten and just hold the tense, and then relax it. So I'll say tighten, hold, relax. Don't tighten so hard you put yourself in any pain, please. The whole idea and why I do this is so many people are not aware where they hold tension, where stress comes. Mine is right here up on the traps. If I was a boom, that's going to tighten up. So some people are not aware, and this helps you become aware. And then when you feel it, you can relax, and that helps to reduce it. What you want to be able to do with this is to be able to get to the point where you can scan your whole body and get rid of that tension in about 1 second. Because that's the amount of time you have. You can't look at a dealer and say, I need 5 minutes here. don't deal, stop. Stop, please stop. And so think about that. So right now, go ahead and close your eyes, get as comfy as you can on these lovely lounge chairs. Should have used all the pool loungers. Tighten the muscles of your left foot. Hold, and relax. Tighten the muscles of your left foot. Hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your left lower leg. And hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your left lower leg. And hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your left thigh. And hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your left thigh. And hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your right foot. And hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your right foot. And hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your right lower leg. And hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your right lower leg. And hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your right thigh. And hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your right thigh. And hold, relax. Tighten all the muscles of your left foot and leg. And hold, relax. Tighten all the muscles of your left foot and leg. And hold, relax. Tighten all the muscles of your right foot and leg. And hold, relax. Tighten all the muscles of your right foot and leg. And hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your stomach. And hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your stomach. And hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your buttocks. And hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your buttocks. And hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your pelvis. and hold, hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your pelvis and hold, hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your chest and hold, hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your chest, hold, hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your middle and upper back and hold, hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your middle and upper back and hold, hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your left shoulder and hold, hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your left shoulder and hold, hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your left upper arm and hold, hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your left upper arm and hold, hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your left lower arm and hold, hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your left lower arm and hold, hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your left hand and hold, hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your left hand and hold, hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your right shoulder and hold, hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your right shoulder and hold, hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your right upper arm and hold, hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your right upper arm and hold, hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your right lower arm and hold, hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your right lower arm and hold, hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your right hand and hold, hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your right hand and hold, hold, relax. Tighten all the muscles in your left shoulder through hand and hold, hold, relax. Tighten all the muscles in your left shoulder through hand and hold, hold, relax. Tighten all the muscles in your right shoulder through hand and hold, hold, relax. Tighten all the muscles in your right shoulder through hand and hold, hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your neck and hold, hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your neck and hold, hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your face and hold, hold, relax. Tighten the muscles of your face and hold, hold, relax. Tighten all the muscles in your body and hold, hold, relax. Tighten all the muscles in your body and hold, hold, relax. And open your eyes slowly. I hope you feel pretty good right now. One thing I want to mention when I'm talking about today, the tools, not only for sports, gaming, but for health situations, when we get to imagery, I'll talk about connecting relaxation and imagery, but I will use this at the dentist. Usually I don't need Novocaine. Put myself in a state. I had an MRI, felt like it was done in 2 seconds between the relaxation and imagery. So you can use it in other areas also, which is what I like about this stuff. Okay, so that's one way to relax. Another way is with some different breathing methods. As a whole, we tend to breathe shallow. We don't really fill up our lungs. If you've ever seen human lungs, they're like just a big balloon. And when we bring air in, they blow up. Kind of like the Dachshund balloon shoes, the clown shoes. So we want to get our lungs filled up. If you kind of just sit right down and put a hand high up and a hand lower, and just kind of monitor which hand is moving out further as you breathe. Top to bottom. Top. Yeah. If it's the top, it's because of the shallow breathing. We tell athletes to practice deep breathing twice a day. but it's really healthy for everyone to do, get good oxygen in. So for all the breathing,
Watch babies breathe. They always breathe from their diaphragm. You know, it's always an out.
yeah,
It's much more relaxed, much more
yes.
than we do. We have a tendency to shallow breathe,
Mhm.
whereas babies don't do that. They don't know how to shallow breathe yet. They
Yeah.
do everything by the relaxed diaphragm
Yes.
breathing.
And you know what's amazing too is when people breathe in like to try to put pants on. But if you're breathing deep, no, breathe out to get the pants on.
Right.
It's much easier. And so we do it wrong. But so what we really suggest for the breathing exercises, and we in mental skills for psychology, is you always want to sit with good posture to do this. Breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Now, I know, does anyone do yoga? Okay. A lot of times in yoga, people who do yoga tend to also breathe out through the nose. For mental skills, what we like is the imagery is kind of like getting the gunk out and breathing through the mouth psychologically kind of gets that good exhale. So that's why we suggest that. For some people, you know, if that's uncomfortable, you know, you want to be comfortable breathing when you do these exercises, for goodness sakes. So for the first thing I'd like to do is just kind of put the hands back and just practice 2 nice deep breaths and exhale on your own. Don't overbreathe. We don't want anyone collapsing. So just kind of do that twice, but hopefully you can feel the difference. And the more you practice, the more just good deep breathing you'll do. So now I'm going to go through 4 breathing exercises for you, which really help to release tension. And some of these I'm going to have you holding your breath for like a count of 10. If at any time you need to release that breath, do it. Again, don't want us to collapse. I've never had anyone drop on me. Today will not be the first time. Okay, so the first one, I'm going to just do this one once. I want you to take a nice deep breath in when I tell you to, and then I'm going to count to 10. See if you can hold it for a count of 10, and then exhale through the mouth. Again, if that's hard, exhale sooner, please. So, are you ready? So, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, exhale. And so if you ever start to feel tension, what's nice is when on all these breathing exercises is almost all getting that out, releasing it. So now we're going to try what's called a rhythmic breathing. You're going to breathe in for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, breathe out to a count of 4. And I'll be the one counting. And for those who didn't come in right at the beginning, I do have handouts and all these things on there for you. So the first thing, and breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, breathe normal. You want to do that one more time?
Yeah.
All right, let's do that one more time. So, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, breathe normal. So now we're going to do one more a variation of rhythmic breathing. And that is you breathe into a count of 4 and breathe out to a count of 8. Again, if everything's out by the count of 5, don't force it.
You don't want to be in trouble.
And I tell you, I gotta be honest. I'm a native Californian. I live in Michigan now. The rhythmic breathing really helps me on icy pathways. I don't get along with ice very well in Michigan. And I will be kind of doing the rhythmic breathing, trying to walk across campus. I actually overshot my building one day because I was so focused on staying upright. Of course, if you're tense, you're more likely to fall. So I kind of do that. I can also breathe now when I drive on ice, which is really nice. So let's do it. So I'm going to have you in for a count of 4, out for a count of 8. So breathe in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe normal. And one more time. And in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe normal. I'm going to do one more breathing exercise. Again, I like to, you have the muscle one, some breathing exercises, and so if you find you need to kind of reduce some tension, especially in your muscles, and that's what these work on, find the one that works best for you. That's the whole idea. So, the next one is called the 5 to 1. So what you're going to do, you're going to picture the number 5 in your head as you breathe out. Then your next breath in as you breathe out, you're going to picture the number 4 and think, I am much more relaxed than I was at 5. Then say I'm 3 more relaxed than 4, 2 more relaxed than 1, and 1 I'm relaxed. So this one you'll do on your own. So go ahead and try this one on your own. Down, probably just stare at me. That's a weird thing, at least I know when you're down. Okay, so did you like any of the breathing exercises? I hope. Awesome. And that's kind of a nice thing too, because let's say you are in a new situation, whether it's gambling or something else, and feel a little nervous. That's something you can do, kind of the breathing in and breathing out. That can help. But remember, with all these, they're like physical skills. You have to practice them for them to really be effective. So now let's talk about imagery. Then we're going to connect how relaxation and imagery can work together, which is really fun. Imagery we want to always practice when you're relaxed, which is why I've had you relax first. Now, what's neat about imagery? And why does it work? When we image, some of you might have heard the term visualization, same thing, visualization, imagery, same thing. But when you're imaging, your neurons, the same neurons that fire when you're actually doing the skill, are firing. Obviously at a much lower level. So if I am, I'm excited about coming to Las Vegas, I haven't played blackjack in a while, I can image myself at the table. I can image myself playing, I can image different cards coming up and so on. For a more active skill, when Michelle and I were going for her obedience championship, I could image the ring. I could image us in the ring, what I needed to do, and everything. Now, obviously, I haven't taught her how to image. But here's the other key to imaging. Because we're helping map out those neural pathways, you need to image yourself correctly. You need to image yourself doing a skill correctly. Because let's say, well, all the bowlers are here in the hotel. If you image yourself bowling incorrectly, you will bowl incorrectly when you get out there with the ball. So you want to make sure you always image correctly. I had someone at a seminar once, because I would say, well, you do agility so you can, picture how to run the course, especially if your dog goes off course and do different things. And then they started telling me they couldn't because it would affect the dog. I said, no. The dog's not the one imaging you want. It's okay. But I get that. Yeah, I'm positive. What can I say? And what's nice is, except when driving, do not image when you're driving. But I will be imaging as I'm walking across campus. And I'm sure I sometimes miss when people say hi. But sometimes if there's something coming up and I need to image something I'm doing, I'll image it. But the first thing we have to know is, how well do you image? So I'm going to put you through a little imagery exercise right now. That's kind of fun. So you have to close your eyes again for this and try to relax as much as you can. Right now, of course, whenever someone tells you to relax, you automatically stiffen up. But that's okay. So close your eyes, relax. So picture yourself standing outside this room, the Joshua room. You're a little early, you don't see anyone, but you decide to come in the room. You open the door, you walk, you take a step in, and you turn around facing the door because the chef kind of loud, louder than normal. As you turn back, the room looks different. There aren't any chairs in the room, no podium, there isn't the table in the middle, water, it's just a blank white room. When you turn around and you don't see the door. So you're in a completely empty, wide enclosed space. And you think, this is odd. And you take a few steps towards the middle of the room, and you look up at the very white ceiling, and as you look up, you start to get taller, and taller, and taller, until you can almost touch the ceiling, and actually you decide to reach out with your hand, and you can't touch the ceiling, and you stop getting taller. And you think, this might be fun. You look down and you start getting smaller, back to your normal height, and smaller, until you're about a foot off the ground, and you reach down and you touch the ground, and you stop, getting smaller, and then you grow back to your normal height. And now you think, and you start to run towards the wall across the room, and when you get there, you realize you can keep going up the side of the wall. You go up the side of the wall, across the ceiling upside down, and back down the other side. And once you get back on the ground, and you look around, and now you see the floor is blue. The walls are green. The ceiling is yellow. And you turn to where the door was, and you see it shimmering. And you touch it, and it opens, and you step outside. You turn around, and you open the door, and you look in the room, and the room is back to how you know it, with the chair set up, the podium, and the screen. Okay, open your eyes. Did you have fun running around? Now, what this tells you is two things. First, can you control the image? So were you able to control yourself getting taller, smaller, kind of running back and forth? That's the key, because you can't really image things if you can't control what you're doing. All of a sudden, you don't want yourself going fast forward as you're going. So that's the main thing, if you can control it. Were you able to see the different colors to do that? Okay, some people have a hard time with that. That comes with practice. And, that one is kind of like the old rabbit ears on the TV. That comes. That'll come with practice. But the main thing is controlling it. There's actually books of imagery exercises if you ever want to practice them. The book is actually called Picture Your Mother on the Ceiling. And I stopped I stopped having people image that when I was working with the collegiate women's basketball team. And after we did this, one of the players came up to me and told me, they said, oh, you know, so-and-so had to leave because her mother recently died. And I thought, okay, well, since we're going to be imaging ourselves, we're going to modify that exercise. That's not a good thing to do. And so I like imaging yourself because that's what you're going to be imaging, is yourself. So again, it works. And by the way, every tool I'm giving you today has research to back up that it works. I don't talk about stuff that is not proven. I have a problem with that. Okay, so now, the connection between relaxation and imagery. Because of course, if, let's say you enter a blackjack tournament, and let's say you've never entered one before, and you're sitting there, they're ready to start, and all of a sudden you start hearing your heart pounding, right? You can't concentrate. It's like, oh my God, you know, how do I count to 21 at this point? What do I do? With training, you can connect, for example, a color to relax. And you do this with imagery. So for example, what we'd have you do is relax. While you're in that relaxed stage, you can image a color like light blue. Light blue is relaxing. Do not image red. Red is not relaxing. Don't do that. Yellow is almost too relaxing, in all honesty. But light blue. So what happens is it starts to pair. And you're conditioning yourself. You're conditioning your body to have a physiological response. Just like, I want y'all to think back when you were kids. And every time before you left the house, your mom or dad or grandparent, whoever it was, looked at you and said, go to the bathroom before you leave the house. Whether you need to or not. And my guess is most of us in this room still do that before we leave the house. Because there's something about walking out that door that makes you think you have to go to the bathroom. Physiologically, doesn't make sense that we can train. And that's what we're doing here. So you're relaxed. For some people, it's a color like blue. It could be a word. For some people, it's a word. And when you relax, if it's a word or a vowel, make it something very separate from something you normally use. For some people, it can be just rubbing two fingers together. Because in any situation you're in, you have to be able to get relaxed within 2 seconds, max. Usually 1 second. So by training yourself, you can actually get to the point of, you can kind of blink, like a regular blink, almost shut your eyes for that brief time, light blue, and you can get back in focus. So that's the connection. Now, so that's one way to connect it. The other way is if you ever have anything that causes you a lot of anxiety. And I get this more with younger athletes, especially collegiate athletes, some with their coaches. But with that, what can you do? You would go through relaxation and you would start imaging the situation. So let's say you know someone who just wants to play blackjack or wants to play slots, wants to do something here, but when they get here, they're just too nervous. They can't do it. So they would get into a nice relaxed state, and then they would start imaging. Now, what I would suggest is you start imaging early. So they might start imaging from when they made the travel arrangements. When they made the travel arrangements, then kind of move up to when they had to start packing, either to the car or the plane, right? And to checking into the room, to walking down. Some people will start showing tension, muscle tension, when they make the reservation. For some, walking in. For some, it might not be until they go to the table. So then what do? If you're imaging and you feel this tension, you stop the image. You stop it right there you stop it for the day. And then what you do is, every day, that's why I said this takes practice, right? They would image until they could get past that point. They go a little further, and now maybe they're fine traveling, but then it's checking to the hotel room. So they would stop. And then the next day you can see how long it takes. Oh, and I should say stop and put your body back through relaxation. So you're tested that image, relax, leave it for the day. Then they'll get to maybe sitting down at a table. They feel tense, stop imaging, don't go further, relax. The next day, pick that up. It might take a couple days, but until they can go through the whole thing without feeling that tension. It'll actually help reduce the tension when they arrive. And so if you have friends, my guess is most of you are fine. You've been doing this a long time. You're part of the hobby. But if you have friends, we think about, well, if people are stressed out and don't have a good time at the table, why would they be interested in the hobby? If they just have bad connotations. So basically, this gets us through. Any questions so far? Let me have a couple minutes. Let me just mention concentration real fast. Because concentration is something that can be worked on and improved. There's different ways of doing it. One way, I don't have the printout here. If you want it, email me, I'll send it to you. I've created it. It's just a table with numbers random 1 through 100 in all the slots. And you might say, time yourself on your phone, give yourself 1 minute. I'm starting with number 23 going up. And you have to look at that, 23, 24, where's 25? And then the next one could be 86 going down. And doing that actually helps increase concentration. There's one other exercise we can do here, and that is, and this is where I stand off to the side because I don't want everyone opening their eyes staring at me doing this. What you're going to do is, and I'm going to move over here right now. What I want you to do is to kind of look forward and focus on any object up there you want to, anything at all. Narrow your vision so you're only looking at that one particular thing. And hold that. Now, broaden what you're looking at to take in what's next to it. Do you feel that difference? Now go ahead, focus one more time on that object, whatever it might be, and then bring it back out. So what were you focusing on?
Mic.
The mic? What else?
The straw.
Graphic. Speaker.
Yeah. Basically, it sounds rather simple, but it does help to increase that concentration. It's a good first step for doing that. To basically understand that to concentrate, we need to focus. And that, we have to learn to hold it. The other thing I want to suggest, that something I just read, a piece of research showing that if you do absolutely nothing for 15 minutes a day, so you don't have the TV on, you don't have the radio on, you're not on the computer, you're not on the phone, you're not on your iPad, everything we do all at once. Just for 15 minutes a day, there's something about that stillness helps cognitive abilities. And they've seen this in people testing the kind of the old gray matter in the brain who do a lot of yoga and meditation. And they're saying 15 minutes a day will really help that also. Keep you sharp for counting to 21, which is what we want. So on the last page of the handout, if you didn't get one, there's extras up there. I have contact information, my 2 emails for work and otherwise. I have my web page, my Facebook page, and just say, hey, I was at your at CCA. I mean, here's a question. On the lower left picture, that's my grandfather. And then the little squirt with the bathing cap on in the forefront of the picture, that's me in the pool of the Thunderbird Hotel. I was 5. I was 5 then.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Now, when you speak about concentration, is that the same as the tension?
Very similar. I mean, because concentration, you're more focused on I'd say a particular, I mean, attention, you can be switching attentional focus.
Okay.
So for example, if I am, let's say World Cup is on, if I'm a soccer goalie, so when you think about, my attention is going to be broad when everything's going on at the other end. As it gets closer to me, right, the players in the ball, right, my focus has to go from that broad, I have to start narrowing to looking at the players, the ball, what I need to do. I can't get it too narrow because then I might miss who's over here ready to get a pass to do it. So there's actually some different exercises for that type of attentional focus.
So that's, like I said, I had the traumatic injury and just went through the neurological testing, and it's come down that it's the attention part that's damaged. And
So I'd say the concentration exercises are like one piece of that, you know, because that's really static concentration. And I also think of it different as, okay, if we're playing blackjack, right, or poker, right, you're concentrating on your cards, right? That's a very narrow attentional focus. Whereas the broad attentional focus is if you're driving, right? Driving is much more. You don't want to be concentrate so much you miss what's over here. I learned those, my Michigan buddies back there also know that, you know, in Michigan, not only are you focused on the road, but okay, where's the next deer going to hop out? You just had a car repair to do, yes. So, you know, but, you know, you have to take all those things into account. You know. Yes, and the last month I said I've stopped for witch baby ducks.
in Jersey, I was outside of New York, and I had the same problem.
Holy cow. Well, you know, it used to be I could just worry about kids flying out in the street. So, any other questions?
I have a question. I missed the first part, so I don't want to be going over some other ground, but you were talking about picturing it, and you used that example about having to go to the bathroom every time before you leave the house. Can you do the picture it to reverse so that you don't have to do that? Because, you know, my wife, she does that. I ask her every time we're ready to go, up to the last minute, she's going back in there again. And she does it every time. It's just, she's learned to do that from a child.
Yeah.
And could you picture it to get out of that habit?
She can image that.
Like the picture, like the kids that we went through, if she could practice
Just without walking
that,
around.
because you know it's frustrating to me, but hey.
I gotta tell you, I mean, so I teach on a college campus. You always know who has a class in 10 minutes if that person's going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
You know, it's the exact same thing. But, yeah, you know, my was a psychology department. Students always laughed how I would give that example. The other thing is in terms of conditioning, think about how many of you buy popcorn as soon as you walk into a movie theater, whether you're hungry or not. The smell, right? Yeah. And, you know, must have popcorn. Yeah. So if you come up with other questions, I'm at the membership table till 11:30. So I'm captive there if you have other questions. Otherwise, don't hesitate to contact me. I love doing this stuff. So thank you for looking at me.